Hey everybody, welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday evening, you guys. We got quite a few things to come back into the rest of this hour here for you guys as far as sports is concerned here in the South. First thing we're going to get into is the welcome back preseason week 2 football, guys. The Buccaneers, Jaguars, and Dolphins all played preseason football this past weekend. All three of those teams won, and we're going to get into that. Of course, the Olympics is just wrapped up, and our boys and girls took home gold as far as basketball is concerned. We're going to send out a huge congratulations to them for making USA look amazing once again, as we always have. We have some Major League Soccer to talk about, some Major League Baseball, guys. I mean, there's not going to win us this show. There's a bunch of things to catch up on right now, and like I said, with the return to football, now couldn't be a more better time to be a sports fan. I know you guys have been missing it just as much as I have, and it's such a privilege to bring you this information, guys. So look forward to it in this segment, episode 81 of Palm Tree Sports Radio. I'm super excited, guys, and thank you all for joining me on this ride. And you know, again, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Come meet me in the comments. Tell me what you're thinking. If there's something I can do better, if there's something our teams can do better, let me know. Tell me what you think. I want to hear these things, of course. And so I'm super excited again. Like I said, thank you guys for joining me here. We'll get into it in a few moments. But until then, keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio for IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Hey everybody, welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. Again, my name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Like I said before, guys, we have a bunch of information to bring to you on this show, the 81st episode of Palm Tree Sports Radio, guys, and I'm super excited to bring it to you. But before we get started on anything, obviously, I want to shout out our socials. First things first, if you guys follow us anywhere, whether it be on Twitter or known as X for those of you who know it by the new name, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever works best for you guys right here. You guys can follow us at all of our socials. And like I said, all of our shows, you know, they have their own individual shows. You can find them also on the same page, wherever your social media is at. You can also find us on all pretty much podcast locations, wherever you get your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, whatever it is that fancies your boat. Mine's is Apple Podcasts. So, you know, that's where you'll see me at whenever I'm listening to them. But you can find us at all of those locations. Also, don't forget to check out our website at iesportsradio.com. That is the overall generalistic website for all of our shows, where you can find my show and all the other ones here that IE Sports Radio has to offer. Again, this one, IE Sports Radio /Palm Tree Sports. That's my specific show, which you're listening to right now. If you guys are looking for some IE Sports Radio merch, we have the shop. It is open. There's a summer sale going on. Go check it out. Grab your a hat or a t-shirt, whatever it is that fancies you. If you're looking for my show directly, you can find me at Palm Tree at _IE. Again, that's my specific show for Palm Tree Sports, where we're covering all of the teams here in Florida, no matter what sport it is. And of course, if you want to hit me up on any of my socials, at Pujols Corey is where you can find me. I'm mostly on Twitter or X for those of you who even know it, by the new name. You can find me on Instagram as well, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is. You can find me there. Just search my name in that bar and you'll get right to me. But guys, obviously the most important part of this segment is our sponsors, and we want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors: Planet Jerky, premium beef jerkies on a whole nother planet, and of course Seal the Deal wax seals by Cecilia B. Guys, let's go ahead and get into that word from our sponsors, and when we get back, we'll jump right into what's going on in the show. Again, my name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at @SealTheDeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Happy Sunday evening again, you guys. I am so glad to have you guys with me. Got a ton of things to jump into right now, and of course, we're going to start in my favorite spot. I hope it's your favorite spot. Let's jump into the sauce, guys. Welcome back, NFL. It has been a long, treacherous 6 months or so, give or take, without pro football, guys, without our beloved Buccaneers. Of course, the Jaguars and the Fins as well be representing in the show, but obviously the hometown favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So happy to have those guys back in pads. So happy to see them back on national television. I can't speak enough good things about the experience, what it's like going from no football to football. And so that's kind of what we're going to shine a light on. The first preseason game has wrapped up. The first preseason week actually has wrapped up. Our Buccaneers played very, very well, especially without using any starters. Most of the guys who played were second, third, fourth, and even fifth stringers in certain areas. There was a ton of experience kind of to lead on. A lot of the veteran players, Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Levante David, Antoine Winfield Jr., these guys were actually on the sidelines giving pointers and giving out instruction to the young players as they were playing throughout the game. If you guys watched the game, you guys got to see that. It was a super exciting game. For those of you who missed it, of course, the Buccaneers went to visit the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals. So the Bucs traveled up north. They were able to hammer out a late victory against the Bengals. That game actually got really good at late in the fourth quarter. The Bengals would go down to score a touchdown and take the lead with only a few minutes left in the game, and then the Buccaneers would go on this very decisive drive to close out the game, scoring a touchdown with less than a minute to go to earn the walk-off victory. So congratulations to the Buccaneers. They won that game by a score of 17-14. A lot to take in. The most important things to take in, for one, are that even though the Bucs didn't use their starters, they showed that they have depth, which is something that they lacked last year. This is something that's very, very important, knowing that the next guy behind you is going to be able to step up at any point in time and become successful. Obviously leads to team success. So that's something that was huge. The couple of players that I want to shout out, obviously the first person is going to be Bucky Irving. If you watch this game, if you guys have been listening to the show up until this point, I've been raving about Bucky. I love Oregon, and they produce nothing but great talent. And this is another example. This guy is going to be the perfect complement to Rachaad White coming out of the backfield. He basically does the exact same thing that Rachaad does. He's a little bit smaller, kind of reminds me of Warrick Dunn. For those of you who remember that Buccaneer and Atlanta great, having another version of him or similar football player to him is going to be a massive thing. Super excited to have Bucky and can't wait to see him on Sundays during the regular season behind Rachaad White. And then, of course, Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker is a guy we drafted a few years back. He's an undrafted free agent out of Syracuse. Monster guy. If you guys watched him run the ball, he looked absolutely phenomenal behind the line. And mind you, this is a line of second and third stringers. Very impressive to see what this team was able to accomplish. Very, very proud of them. So pretty much those are the takeaways. A lot of depth added. Pretty much what you expect from the first game. Buccaneer starters did not play. The Bengals starters only played the first drive, and then they left after that. Chase McLaughlin needs to get himself together. He just got a contract. Missing those kicks is not going to be helpful for Tampa Bay, so he's definitely going to have to figure that part out. And, just shout out to the Bengals, obviously, for being such great hosts during that game. It was great to see that there was no negative interaction between the players. These guys respect each other, and as they should. Baker and Joey, two of the best to ever do it in college football, and they're showing us that they really have what it takes to be successful here at this top level. When you move on next week, obviously they're going to be playing the Jaguars, so I'm going to go ahead and tie that into the Jaguars part. For those of you who are ready to hear about the Jaguars, they will be playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next week. That game is going to be Saturday, August 17th at 7:30 p.m. So, guys, if you want to check out two of the Florida teams that are one from the NFC, one from the AFC, this is going to be your chance to do it. They hook it up every preseason, so this is normal for us. Same thing with the following game, which would be against the Fins, and we'll talk about the Fins momentarily. But about the Jaguars, so the Jaguars, they were able to get they were able to find some success, I should say, against the Chiefs. I think this is the most important thing to look at. They're playing against the former Super Bowl champions. This is one of those things where they were going to want to come out and try to make a statement with their depth. Now, obviously, if the stars are going to roll in, they're going to play good football. And that's exactly what happened. T-Law played well. Little to no mistakes. He went 3 of 4 for 42 yards and a touchdown. About what you would expect in the preseason, but we want to see him do that on a regular during the regular season, right? You see what I did there. But you guys get what I'm saying. At the end of the day, they were able to put a W against a team that just won a Super Bowl, preseason or otherwise. That's got to be helpful because, again, the team that just won a Super Bowl is the best team in football, right? Well, hey, listen, whenever you get a chance to put your backup guys against their backup guys and your guys come out on top, you're going to love it, right? Balanced attack, neither one of these versions of the offense, whether it be the running or the passing, really stood out any different than they would have if they had just focused on one or the other. Running attack was very balanced. They had multiple running backs get over 20 yards rushing on limited touches, also, may I add. And, of course, the quarterbacks did very well through the air. Like I said, T-Law leading the pack with a very good ratio during his first drive. Obviously, the Chiefs didn't play any starters, but they didn't need to because they just won a Super Bowl, so why would you? I mean, you get the idea. It's put yourself in their shoes. Be Andy Reid for a second, right? Why play your starters in the first preseason game? Nonetheless, about what you would expect throughout the game, Jaguars pretty much dominated, and they were able to find a lot of success both in the air and on the ground. Hopefully, that's able to translate into the regular season because, of course, we know that AFC South is wide open and it's for the taking. But, if you don't win it, you're probably not making the playoffs, right? There are too many other conferences in the AFC that have a lot more to offer. Moving on down to the Fins. The Fins, similar situation. They were able to win their game 20-13. They played the Falcons. The Falcons are a struggling team right now. And I think that the Dolphins are in the weirdest situation of the three teams because obviously the AFC South and NFC South are both bad divisions, and the AFC East is quietly one of the better divisions in football. So obviously the Dolphins are going to have a tough road dealing with the Buffalo Bills. In the rest of the division, we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. Nonetheless, got to be excited for what they did. Again, another balanced performance by a Florida team. Both the running and the passing part of the offense both found success. That's what you look for down in Miami, especially what you're accustomed to at Tua Tagovailoa. All secondaries and third stringers, no starters for that game unnecessarily in that situation. I'm talking about another team that's played very, very well. And again, why play your starters when you already know what they're capable of doing? Tampa Bay didn't play any of their starters as well. So you kind of get where these teams are at. They feel comfortable with what they have. And of course, with Jacksonville ending their season the way they did last year, that's the reason why their starters started the preseason, because obviously they needed a little bit more work than these other two teams. And for good reason, right? For good reason. But guys, pretty much that's what's going on there in the preseason. If you're looking for Buffalo Bills next game, that game is going to be against the Commanders. The game is also Saturday, August 17th at 7 p.m. So you got one game, 7 p.m. The other one starts 30 minutes later for both Florida teams. So if you're looking for that, there you go. Same evening, 30 minutes apart, both games. If you got it on the remote, just hit last, right? And you got both of the games going on. I fully suspect that both of these games are going to be solid games. I think the Bucs are going to beat the Jaguars. They have more continuity. They're just playing better football than the Jaguars have in recent memory. And the Fins should be able to run away from the Commanders. The Commanders with a lot of draft capital, but how much has that really translated? We'll just have to wait and see. Only time will tell. Before we get into our first break of the evening, I just want to send a quick shout out to our Olympic basketball team. Both the men and the women were able to bring home gold. For those of you who were able to watch both of those games, they were absolutely electrifying. Both teams were actually down in the gold medal game and stormed back in dramatic fashion to win both of their games. Of course, the women, we really expected that, but for the men, it was an extremely entertaining game. We got to see LeBron James put on the crown. We got to see Steph Curry pull out the sniper rifle and hit some shots, and he was absolutely fundamental down the stretch. Phenomenal game played by both teams, and I want to say congratulations to the men's and women's basketball team for the USA, bringing home gold medals for us, the fourth respectively and fifth in a row for the men's and the women. So congratulations to them. Huge congratulations to them. Thank you guys so much for what you do, and I can't wait to see you guys get back on the court here in the US and play some more ball, guys. But let's go ahead and get into our first break of the evening. When we get back, we'll talk some Major League Soccer and some Major League Baseball, and then I'll send you on your way with some food for thought, guys. Thanks for having it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Corey Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get right into what's going on in the MLS with Inter Miami. Guys, of course, Major League Soccer is played down here in Florida, and our very own Inter Miami is actually in first place in the East. Super proud of these guys. Right now, they're in non-league competition, which means they're actually playing some foreign teams that don't actually represent records in the MLS. And for that game, the most recent one that took place was on August 8th. That was a Thursday where our Inter Miami was able to defeat Toronto by a score of 4-3. Very close game, very entertaining game, but obviously Inter Miami just a bit too much for Toronto to handle. Again, this is the best team in the East, guys. This is what you expect, and this is what we're here to deliver. Super proud of this Miami team. They look like they can win it all this year. I think they're the best team in the Major League Soccer view right now. I can't wait to see the next game that's going to be played, which is going to be against Columbus. That game is going to be Tuesday, August 13th. That's this Tuesday, guys. So if you guys want to check out the best team in Major League Soccer right now, that'll be your opportunity to do it. Again, Tuesday, August 13th, 7:30 p.m. That's a primetime game, guys. Go check out our Miami team and see what they have to offer. Go see that high-powered offense that they are slugging around right now against the rest of the MLS. Speaking of the rest of the MLS, let's go ahead and travel north of Miami to Orlando City. Orlando City currently middle of the pack, not playing the best soccer, but hey, listen, it's hard to do that when you got Miami rolling the way they are right now. With that being said, they lost their game to Cruz Azul. That game was a 0-0 ball game, so it went to penalties. Penalties was 4-5 Azul. So unfortunately, Orlando lost that tally. It's this is non-league competition, so if you're going to lose a game, now's the time to do it. But hopefully when they resume league play, that they're going to be successful and they're going to turn it around and kind of learn from this experience. I think that this team has the opportunity to be great, but they just haven't put all the pieces together yet. And once they'll do that, they'll find a lot of success, guys. The next game for Orlando City is going to be is going to be against the Sporting KC. That's going to be Saturday, August 24th at 8:30 p.m. Guys, if you want to check out Orlando City Major League Soccer, that's going to be the time to do it. Obviously, like I said, this team not where Miami is. So if you are going to check out this team, just kind of have an open mind of what to expect and be prepared for that, okay? In the meantime, between time, let's talk about Major League Baseball, right? So for Major League Baseball, our Rays, they're playing – they're trying, right? They're trying. Well, they're doing their best not to be the Marlins, right? So, I think that's really what the key is for them right now is to not play the way the Marlins have been playing. I think that it has been an extremely suspect season for our Rays, but how could it not with all the offseason issues that we've dealt with? With that being said, they were able to find a W against the Orioles, who are currently leading our conference. This is one of those things where you look at and you say, okay, hey, look, that I understand losing the series to them, but finding a W was big on its own. I think that you can't really expect much when you have both the teams sitting at the top and they both have the exact same record, okay? You have the Yanks and you have the Baltimore Orioles. They're both sitting at 70 and 49, which is a tremendous record right now this far into the baseball season. So you can't really expect much, but for the Rays to be 11 games out looks pretty good for them. I mean, the Rays are currently rocking a 59 and 58 record, one game above 500, which is better than where we've been at more or less since the start of the season. Again, the Orioles rocking a 70 and 49 record, sitting atop the AL East. This is what you expect. Two of the best teams in all of baseball, they're going to slug it out. We were able to bring home a series against the Yankees earlier in the season, and we were hoping to do that against the Orioles. We were unable to do that. 2-2 in the last four kind of spells that disappointment, which is the reason why we've been around that 500 mark. 2-2 is exactly 500 out of the last four. What more do you expect from the team? Right now, again, rebuilding, moved a lot of pieces, right? A lot of pieces that I'm not excited. Rosarena's gone. Lost some pitching guys. We lost a bunch of stars. It's a heartbreaker, but it's part of the game of baseball. Hopefully we're building a better team for next year, because this year's kind of cooked already. But at the same time, this is a team that likes to look towards the future anyway. And we made a lot of moves for the future. Hopefully we're going to be able to hold on to this talent, to these players, and find some success with them. Because again, losing the pieces that we've lost, man, rough, especially that Rosarena trade really hurt. I loved Randy Rosarena. He's a great ball player. I wish them nothing but the best of luck. This next series is going to be a 3-game series. It's going to be against the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros are rocking a 62-55 record, a lot more mild-mannered than what we have going on in the AL East. But it is what it is, guys. Hopefully the Rays are able to put a victory together and start putting some games between the 500 mark and the non-500 mark. The Marlins, on the other hand, they're terrible. All right, guys, let's just call a spade a spade. Marlins are terrible. They're not playing very good baseball. They haven't played good baseball all year long. What can I say? They're 44-75 for their record. They're near the bottom of the pack as far as the entire MLB is concerned. They won their last game against the Padres, but they lost the series. The score was a 7-6 ball game. Padres rocking a 66-53 record. Not the best team, not the worst team, but definitely performing a lot better than the Marlins. They have something to cheer for out west. Good for them. But the Marlins they're stinking it up, man. They haven't been good since they were good, and it's terrible to watch them play ball right now. I have to admit, this is the Florida team that has underperformed the most, and I'm saying that even more than the Miami Hurricanes did last year, especially how their season went down the gurgler. I can't speak on Miami too harshly, though, because realistically speaking, they are in a rebuilding state of their franchise. They do have a World Series victory to their name, so, hey, just going to have to get better, right? Just have to get better over time. They made some moves during the free agency. Of course, they were able to sign a couple of guys. They got somebody from here, actually from Tampa Bay. So, they're putting pieces together. I don't know if they're going to be successful pieces, but they're putting pieces together. Fingers crossed that it's going to work out best for them. This team struggles, man. Before that win, they lost 3 in a row. All right. So it's not anything special in Miami, but they're still hanging in there. They're still trying to build the roster. They're still trying to figure out their identity. And once they do that, then, of course, they'll find some success. But I do believe that they're about 2 years out from that success and that they're going to need a couple of big drafts as well to help bring in some seriously decent players. They drafted well this year. All right, let's not ignore that concept. They did draft well this year, but they're going to need more help. They're going to need more help, especially with the offseason, because we know how baseball is in the offseason, like flipping eggs, all right? I mean, sometimes you're going to flip them fast, sometimes you're going to flip them slow, but they're going to get flipped, all right? So we know that to be the case, guys, but again, that's what's going on with the Marlins. Next series for them is going to be against the Phillies. That series is going to be a 2-game series. The Phillies rocking a 69-49 record, and the next game to be played is going to be August 13th at 6:40 p.m. So if you're looking to check out that's going to be the time to do it. Again, the Rays game is going to be against the Astros. That's going to be tomorrow at 6:50. Okay, so 6:50 tomorrow. Rays, Astros on August 13th, 6:40. Phillies, Marlins, next 2 games for Florida baseball. Guys, that's all that I have for you this evening. All right, I really appreciate you guys, joining me here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. It's been a pleasure to talk to you guys about what's going on in the world of sports here in Florida. I can't wait to see you guys next week, and we'll just go from there, guys. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful work week moving forward, and just take care, do your best, and we'll be here next week. I mean, honestly, that's just where we're at, guys. So take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. Until then,